Don't act like you're my mother just because you're around. You were the one who moved my stuff without asking, right? This is exactly why I can't stand low-educated people like you. How can you be so dumb and still have the nerve to interfere?
Ari, you can't just talk to me like that. This is out of control. You've been getting worse and worse with the way you treat me. I only organized your things because they were lying around in the living room. You didn't have to say all that. It wasn't a big deal.
Don't you dare come into my room without permission, you trash. You're just a piece of garbage with a low education trying to play the role of my mom. Guess what? I'm in med school. You know, I'm a genius. And look at you. You're a total embarrassment.
Ever since you got into medical school, you have really changed for the worse. You never used to talk like this. Does the fact that I didn't get a high education really bother you that much?
Obviously. I'm in med school now, and you're a high school dropout. Having a mother who's uneducated is humiliating. I'd even ask Dad for a divorce, but he won't listen. He just won't go through with it.
You've actually been asking him that? I had no idea.
Didn't he tell you? Well, I'll make sure to tell him again. Having a high school dropout in the family of a med student? How embarrassing. I can't deal with it anymore. I don't even see you as family. You should come to terms with that too.
Ari, you need to stop this. Your condescending attitude towards me is only going to come back to bite you someday. You'll regret it later, so you better watch your words.
Huh? What's with that tone? I'm a med student. Do you seriously think a high school dropout like you can talk to me like that? Oh, wait. You probably don't even understand how ridiculous you sound because you're so dumb. Honestly, it's kind of pathetic. You've always been so miserable, getting looked down on and mocked by your own daughter. It's like you don't even have any human rights. I'm so glad I got my smarts from Dad and not from you.
Well, I'm sure you are. Anyway, this conversation is pointless. If it bothers you so much, from now on you can clean up after yourself. I won't be doing it anymore. Richard, are you coming home tonight? We really need to sit down and have a proper conversation.
Huh? A conversation about what?
You know what I mean. It's about her.
Oh, that. Well, we'll talk when the time's right.
I am asking you to make time. And Ari's attitude toward me is getting worse. She's 20 years old now, but the way she speaks to me has only gotten more disrespectful. Don't you think it's about time we talked about our relationship? She needs to understand and behave accordingly.
Yeah, well, we'll get to it when the time comes. There's no rush.
And when exactly is that time going to be? From where I'm standing, it feels like you're just putting it off.
Oh, come on. Is it really that big of a deal?
What? What do you mean by that?
Of course Ari doesn't like you. You think her bad attitude is just her? Maybe you should consider how you treat her. And honestly, why does it even matter so much? You're not even her real mother.
I can't believe you'd say something like that at this point. After all I've done for you and her, you, of all people, should understand how I felt. And yet you throw this at me now?
Jane, calm down. She's 20 now, practically an adult. Let her figure it out. There's no need for us to have a big conversation. Everything's balanced just fine as it is. We should focus on our own lives now.
How can you say that when you barely even come home?
It's not like I'm out partying, it's work.
Work, huh? Do you really think I'm that clueless?
What are you talking about?
Be home early tomorrow. We have a lot to discuss. If you're not there, I'm done. Consider this your last chance.
I was bored because there was no school today, so I cleaned up for you.
Huh? You cleaned up the house? Oh, you didn't have to do that, but thank you for taking the time. You could have used your free time to study instead. Though, of course, I appreciate it.
Aren't you misunderstanding something?
Misunderstanding? What do you mean?
I didn't clean up the house. I cleaned up your stuff.
What do you mean by that?
I've decided to kick you out for real. I mean, even after I graduate from medical school, you're still going to be a burden, aren't you? I can already see that future. So I thought I'd take measures now while I still can.
I don't understand what you're saying at all. What are you talking about?
When I start making money, you're definitely going to leech off me, right? I can't stand that. So I threw your stuff away. Get out.
You threw away my things? To kick me out?
That's right. So hurry up and leave, you low-educated woman. I'll convince Dad. Don't worry about him. You're a useless existence. Haven't you realized that by now? No one needs you. You're a middle school dropout, a piece of trash.
I didn't expect you to go that far. Did you really throw away my things without my permission?
Well, I sold the stuff that could be sold. Most of it I threw away.
You sold and threw away my things without feeling any guilt?
You always moved my stuff around without permission. What's the difference?
I never threw away anything without asking. I always checked with you, didn't I?
Well, that doesn't matter anymore, does it? There's no place for you in this house anymore. Get out, you disgraceful dropout hag.
I'm shocked. I never thought you'd go this far. I've had enough. I can't think of you as my daughter anymore.
Huh? If you've had enough, then hurry up and leave. Anyway, I am changing the locks soon, so you won't be able to get back in. You're a parasite leeching off me and Dad. It's time for you to disappear. I mean, don't you understand the difference between us? You're not fit to be my mother. It's unbelievable that someone who is a middle school dropout would try to act like the mother of someone like me, a medical student. Stop pretending to be my mother, you low-educated loser. Get out of here already.
Well, I'm not your real mother anyway.
What?
I've had enough. I am tired of dealing with this nonsense. I think that you're old enough to understand now, so I'll be clear. Ari, you're not my real daughter. You're your father's child from his previous marriage.
What the hell are you talking about? I've never heard anything like that.
Of course you haven't. Your father and I never told you, and you were too young to remember. Even before your biological mother left, she wasn't really around much, from what I've heard. Your father took care of you, but you were too little to remember those days, right?
Now that you mention it, maybe, but that doesn't change the fact that you've been my mother all these years, does it? Don't say such ridiculous things.
Oh, you've been looking down on me all this time, but now that you know I'm not your real mother, you're sad?
No, I never said that. Don't get the wrong idea. If you're not my real mother, I'm thrilled. I never wanted you to act like my mother in the first place, so this is perfect. Now, will you get out of my life?
I don't need you to tell me twice. I've taken care of you for over 10 years, so I did have some affection for you. But your rebellious phase, or should I say your defiance towards me, it's been going on for so long. And after pulling a stunt like this, whatever affection I had for you is gone. I was planning to divorce Richard anyway, so this is the end for me. I wasn't going to cut ties with you completely, but it seems you want that too, so I guess this is the right time.
So, you're finally agreeing to the divorce? Good riddance. My real mother must be completely different from you. You're just a lowly middle school dropout.
Yes, your real mother is quite different from me. Why don't you ask your father? I hear he's been seeing her again lately.
Huh? Really? Why didn't anyone tell me? I would have been thrilled to know my real mom was around.
Well, I'm leaving now, so why don't you invite your real mom over and live together? Go ahead. But don't forget, you still owe me for the tuition.
Tuition? What are you talking about?
I've been paying your tuition. Richard, as a contract worker, couldn't afford to send you to medical school. You've only been able to attend university thanks to me. And yet this is how you repay me.
Repay you? You think I'm going to rely on you? You're just saying whatever comes to your mind because you've lost. Good. Now don't ever come back to this house again. I'm going to live happily with Dad and my real mom.
Well, I hope that works out for you. Goodbye, then. Thank you for the last 15 years, though I don't feel any gratitude.
Mom, help me.
Excuse me, I don't have a daughter.
Please don't say that and abandon me. I've heard the whole story. This can't be happening. You're my mother, aren't you? You raised me for 15 years and now you're going to throw me away like this?
What are you talking about? You're the one who wanted to cut ties with me and kick me out, remember? And besides, I'm not your real mother, so I don't see why we need to stay involved with each other. Isn't this what you wanted?
I never imagined things would turn out like this. Dad says he doesn't have any savings at all. And because I kicked you out, we have to pay you alimony on top of everything else. There is no way we can afford tuition.
You've hardly ever called me Mom, and now you want to? Isn't it a bit convenient for you to call me that only when you're in trouble? I'm no longer your mother, and I was never your real mother to begin with. Stop being so familiar. We're strangers now.
Wait, please don't cut me off like that. I'm in real trouble here.
You got what you wanted, didn't you? I'm gone, and your real mother is back in your life. So what do you need me for? Enjoy your reunion with her. I'm sure you'll have a lovely time.
No, I haven't seen her in over 15 years, and I barely remembered her face. She sold all my precious things, my furniture and appliances. And when I told her I'm in medical school, she said I'd have to support her for the rest of her life. That's not how I thought things would turn out.
You were convinced I'd mooch off you, weren't you? Now you're just being mooched off by your real mother instead.
This is not what I wanted. I did this because I thought it would make Dad happy.
What are you even saying now? I don't know what you were thinking, but in the end, this was your decision. Richard and I were planning to divorce anyway, but I was willing to keep supporting you, you know. I just don't feel that way anymore, and that's entirely because of you. There's no way I'm paying for anything for you again. I'll also be collecting the money I loaned for your tuition. I'm so glad I had a lawyer draft up those loan papers.
Wait, you're serious? Even though you raised me as your daughter, you're really going to make me pay you back? I can understand taking money from Dad, but from me too?
Are you even listening to yourself? You are 20 years old. You're old enough to take responsibility for your own actions. And you need to start doing that. Your real mother has always been irresponsible with money, and your father lost everything because of her. That's why she left him in the first place, leaving him in ruins. I met him after that, and I agreed to raise you. I even paid for your schooling. And now, after you've thrown me out of my own home, you want to come crawling back? I'm done with this conversation. Don't contact me again.
Wait, no, don't hang up. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Please, I'll do anything. Just don't abandon me like this. I have no one else I can turn to.
I think we're done here. Goodbye.
Jane, please, can you come back? I never expected things to escalate like this. That woman, she ended up selling off all our furniture and appliances for cash and just disappeared. I never wanted it to come to this point. You were the only one I could truly rely on. It felt like my world collapsed the moment she walked out. Ari is also deeply remorseful for her actions. She's genuinely sorry for what has transpired. Please come back to us. The house feels empty without you. Your presence is a pillar of strength for Ari and me. We need you more than ever right now.
Are you out of your mind? Don't you feel any remorse for Ari? You need to get it together. You are all alone now. Do you realize that? You can't keep making the same mistakes and failing to properly care for your daughter. I have no intention of helping you anymore, and I'll make sure to recover every cent. Perhaps this will be a lesson in life for you. It's heartbreaking to see a father like you unable to take responsibility for his actions, especially when your daughter is suffering. She is 20 years old now. It's time to start acting like it. I am done getting involved in this mess.
But everything happened so suddenly.
From my perspective, nothing happened suddenly. I've been trying to discuss this for a long time, haven't I? You're the one who refused to engage in those conversations. I even gave you a final chance to step up, but you didn't show up. Our relationship has been strained for months, if not years. We've been drifting apart, and this crisis was sadly inevitable. It's painful to admit, but I couldn't continue living in denial.
I know, but...
You're right. I've been lenient for far too long. I don't think there's anything left to salvage now. Instead of blaming your daughter for this situation, maybe you should reflect on yourself and your decisions. It's time for you to become a better father. Ari needed your guidance and support, but you weren't there when she needed you the most. It's not too late to make amends, but it requires genuine effort and a commitment to change.
Jane, I'm truly sorry. You're right. I now see that I haven't been a good husband at all, and I deeply regret that. It's hard to accept, but I need to acknowledge my faults. I've let you down and failed to support you and our family when it mattered the most. I can't even begin to express how much remorse I feel. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to earn back your trust and support. Please, give me another chance to prove myself. I promise to be a better husband and father from now on.
That's enough. From now on, focus on Ari. Be there for her.
Please, try to understand my position. I know things seem bleak, but I want to make things right. Let's work together for the sake of our daughter. We can't let her suffer because of our mistakes. I know I'm asking for a lot, but I promise to do better. I want to be the father Ari deserves. She deserves a stable and loving environment, and I'm committed to providing that for her. Let's put aside our differences and prioritize Ari's well-being above everything else.
Goodbye. I hope you can support Ari. Farewell for now. Take care.
So, this is it for us then. I hope you deeply contemplate everything that has happened. I wish you the best, and I genuinely hope you find a way to set things right. I'll always cherish the good times we shared, but now I must prioritize my daughter's well-being. I hope you can understand that. Take care of yourself, Jane. I hope you find peace and happiness in your life. Farewell for now, and perhaps someday we'll find a way to reconcile and move forward together.
I've finalized my divorce from Richard, and he has agreed to pay me alimony. It feels like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. The journey to this point was not an easy one. It was filled with moments of deep reflection, emotional turmoil, and tough decisions. The decision of divorce was not made lightly. It came after months, if not years, of grappling with the realities of our relationship, questioning whether there was a way to salvage what had once felt like a beautiful partnership. The initial realization that my marriage was headed towards its conclusion was jarring. I remember sitting in our living room, surrounded by the echoes of laughter and love that had once filled the space, but now felt like a distant memory. My heart felt heavy as I thought about how much had changed. It was a mix of relief and sorrow, as I knew deep down that ending the marriage was the right choice for my mental and emotional well-being. Yet I mourned the loss of what could have been. Once I made the decision to file for divorce, I found myself grappling with a whirlwind of emotions. There were nights when I would lie awake, replaying memories in my mind. Our first date, the promises we made to each other, the plans we had for the future. I questioned whether I had made the right choice. Doubt crept in, whispering that perhaps there was still a chance for reconciliation. However, as the days turned into weeks, it became increasingly clear to me that the cycle of hurt and disappointment was not something I wanted to continue. Staying in a relationship that no longer brought me joy would only lead to further heartache. Thanks to the support of my lawyer, it seems that I will be able to avoid any further involvement in this situation. When I initially sought legal counsel, I was filled with apprehension. The thought of navigating the complexities of divorce law felt overwhelming, but my lawyer quickly became a source of strength during this tumultuous time. They patiently guided me through the intricacies of the legal process, ensuring that I understood my rights and options. Our meetings were often long, but they provided a safe space for me to voice my fears and uncertainties. My lawyer's unwavering support helped me find clarity amidst the chaos. I vividly recall one particular meeting where I expressed my concerns about financial stability after the divorce. My lawyer listened attentively and then assured me that we would work together to secure a fair settlement. Their words provided a glimmer of hope, and I began to realize that I could take control of my life moving forward. After that, 6 months passed, and I suddenly received a message from Ari. The sudden influx of emotions upon seeing Ari's name on my phone was unexpected. I hadn't heard from them in a while, and our connection had become strained during the final months of my marriage. I felt a mixture of curiosity and apprehension, uncertain of how our conversation might unfold. According to Ari, Richard has begun to reflect on his actions and has started looking for a full-time job. The revelation startled me. I had often wondered whether Richard would ever take responsibility for his life. For so long he had struggled with commitment, not just in our relationship, but in various aspects of his life. The idea that he was finally considering taking steps towards responsibility felt foreign, yet intriguing. Could it be that this time he was genuinely seeking to better himself? Although he can no longer afford to attend university due to his financial situation, he is taking the time to reconsider what he truly wants to do with his life. This was significant for Richard, and I could only hope that he would find a direction that brought him fulfillment. Reflecting on our past, I remembered the conversations we had shared about dreams and aspirations. We had often discussed our hopes for the future, and I wanted to believe that he was finally ready to pursue his passions. Ari also mentioned that they themselves have started working to save money for school, aiming to enroll in a school that aligns with their interests. Hearing this about Ari filled me with a sense of pride. I had always admired their creativity and ambition. It was inspiring to know that they were taking charge of their future, especially in light of the challenges we had faced together. Our friendship had experienced its own share of ups and downs, and I couldn't help but feel grateful that Ari was making strides towards their goals. Ari expressed a desire to meet up, but I turned them down. The thought of meeting stirred a conflict within me. While I missed our friendship, I was acutely aware of the need to protect my newfound independence. The journey to reclaim my life had been a hard-fought battle, and I didn't want to jeopardize the progress I had made. I didn't want to interfere with Ari's newfound independence. They were on a path of self-discovery, and I wanted to support that without becoming a hindrance. I also felt a sense of anxiety about possibly repeating the same patterns as before. The memories of our past were intertwined with feelings of regret and confusion, and the idea of rekindling our friendship filled me with trepidation. I had spent months healing from the emotional scars of my marriage, and the prospect of diving back into a complicated friendship felt overwhelming. I didn't want to risk the stability I had fought so hard to achieve. Even now, I occasionally receive messages from them, but our conversations are superficial and polite. This arrangement has allowed us to maintain a connection without delving into the complexities of our shared history. Each message feels like a thread that keeps us linked but not entangled. Both Richard and Ari have settled their debts, including the alimony, and have distanced themselves from me. This newfound distance brought a measure of peace. It allowed me to focus on building my life without the burden of unresolved issues hanging over my head. Sometimes I think about what might have happened if we had had more time. I find myself lost in thought, wondering about the possibilities. Would things have turned out differently if we had communicated better? If Richard had been more open to addressing the issues that plagued our relationship, could we have found a way to make it work? These questions swirl in my mind, and while I acknowledge their validity, I remind myself that dwelling on the past won't change the present. Perhaps the outcome could have been different. I often reflect on the moments leading up to the divorce, the late-night arguments, the misunderstandings, the feelings of isolation that had seeped into our daily lives. It was a challenging journey, but I also recognize the strength I gained from those experiences. Each setback has been a lesson, and I was determined to learn from them, to evolve as a person and to emerge stronger than before. Well, I am currently satisfied with my life, so I don't really have any complaints. I've embraced my independence and am actively working toward my goals. The sense of liberation I feel is exhilarating. I can finally breathe without the constraints of my past relationship weighing me down. I've begun to explore new opportunities, and I'm committed to nurturing my personal growth. One of the things I've started doing is taking art classes, something I had always dreamed of but had pushed aside during my marriage. Art has always been a passion of mine, and the thought of rediscovering that part of myself filled me with excitement. Creating has become a source of solace for me. I spend hours experimenting with colors, shapes, and ideas on canvas, allowing my emotions to flow freely. Each stroke of the brush feels like a release, a way to channel my experiences into doing something beautiful and meaningful. In these classes, I have found a supportive community of fellow artists who share my enthusiasm. We gather to create, share our work, and provide constructive feedback to one another. It's refreshing to be in an environment where creativity thrives, and where I feel inspired to push my artistic boundaries. My instructor encourages us to find our unique voices and to express our individuality through our art. This encouragement has been invaluable as I work to hone my skills and build confidence in my abilities. The weight of my past is gradually lifting, and I am excited about the possibilities that lie ahead. I've also begun volunteering at a local community center, helping children with art projects. It's incredibly rewarding to witness their creativity unfold and to be part of their journey. In these moments, I realize how far I've come and how the power of connection can create lasting positive change, both for myself and for others. The joy I feel when I see a child's face light up as they create something new is immeasurable. These experiences have reinforced my belief in the importance of fostering creativity in young minds. I am committed to being a positive influence in their lives, encouraging them to explore their artistic potential and express themselves freely. As I immerse myself in these new experiences, I also find myself reflecting on the lessons I've learned from my past. The journey of healing is ongoing, and I understand that it is normal to experience ups and downs. There are days when I feel strong and empowered, and then there are moments when I am reminded of the pain I endured. However, I have learned to embrace these feelings, acknowledging that they are a part of my growth. While I continue to navigate this chapter of my life, I am hopeful for the future. I recognize that healing takes time and am committed to taking the necessary steps to create fulfilling and meaningful life. My journey is just beginning, and I am eager to see where it leads me. I know that there will be challenges ahead, but I am ready to face them head on. Reflecting on my past relationships and the lessons I've learned, I've also started journaling. Writing has become a therapeutic outlet for me, a way to process my thoughts and emotions in a constructive manner. Each entry serves as a snapshot of my experiences, my growth, and my evolving identity. Through writing, I found clarity and understanding, and it has empowered me to embrace my story without shame or regret. As I look forward, I have set goals for myself, both personal and professional. I am determined to pursue my passions wholeheartedly. The freedom I've gained from my divorce has ignited a fire within me, pushing me to strive for a life that reflects my values and aspirations. I have dreams of starting my own art studio, a place where creativity flourishes and people can come together to explore their artistic potential. This vision fills me with excitement and motivates me to work diligently toward making it a reality. In my moments of solitude, I find solace in nature. Long walks in the park allow me to connect with the world around me and to appreciate the beauty and simplicity. Each rustling leaf, each gentle breeze serves as a reminder of the impermanence of life and the importance of cherishing each moment. I've started practicing mindfulness, focusing on the present rather than dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. This practice has helped me cultivate a sense of peace and gratitude. I also reconnected with old friends who had faded from my life during my marriage. Rebuilding these friendships has been incredibly rewarding, allowing me to create a support system that uplifts and encourages me. It's refreshing to be surrounded by people who genuinely care for my well-being and share in my journey of self-discovery. Each gathering, each conversation reminds me of the joy that comes from meaningful connections. Each day feels like a new beginning, a chance to redefine who I am. I've learned to embrace the uncertainty of life, knowing that growth often stems from discomfort. As I navigate this path, I find strength in vulnerability, understanding that opening myself up to new experiences can lead to profound personal transformation. While I may not have all the answers, I am learning to trust in the process and to believe in myself. Life is a tapestry woven with countless threads, each representing a different experience, a lesson learned, or a connection made. As I embrace my new chapter, I am excited to see how these threads intertwine, creating a vibrant and meaningful narrative. In conclusion, I am grateful for the journey that has brought me here, the struggles, the heartaches, and the moments of joy that have all played a role in shaping who I am today. I look forward to the adventures that lie ahead, ready to embrace whatever comes my way with open arms. This is just the beginning of a new chapter, and I am eager to write my story, one filled with resilience, hope, and the promise of a brighter future. As I continue on this journey, I know that there will be moments of doubt and uncertainty. Life can be unpredictable, and there may be challenges that I cannot foresee. However, I have faith in my ability to adapt and overcome obstacles. Each step I take, no matter how small, brings me closer to my goals. I have begun to set aside time for self-care, recognizing the importance of nurturing my mental and emotional well-being. Whether it's curling up with a good book, enjoying a warm bath, or practicing yoga, I prioritize activities that bring me joy and tranquility. This commitment to self-care has been instrumental in maintaining my balance and grounding me during turbulent times. I also find joy in exploring new hobbies. In addition to painting, I've taken up gardening. There's something incredibly fulfilling about nurturing plants and watching them flourish. It serves as a beautiful metaphor for my own journey of growth and renewal. Each seed I plant represents the hope for new beginnings, and with care and attention, I witness the transformation as they bloom. I often find myself reflecting on the lessons I've learned throughout my experiences. The divorce, while painful, has ultimately led me to a place of self-discovery. I've learned the importance of boundaries, valuing my own needs, and prioritizing my happiness. These insights have become guiding principles as I navigate my new life. As I forge ahead, I remain open to the possibility of new relationships. While I'm not actively seeking a romantic partner, I am learning to embrace the idea that love can manifest in various forms. I value the friendships I've cultivated and am excited about the potential for deeper connections. I understand that love does not have to be confined to traditional norms. It can be found in the camaraderie of friends, the bonds with family, and even in the connections I build within my artistic community. In the meantime, I focus on my personal growth and the pursuit of my passions. Each day presents an opportunity to learn something new, to challenge myself, and to expand my horizons. I set small, achievable goals that keep me motivated and excited about the future. Whether it's completing a painting, mastering a new technique, or reaching out to someone new, I take pride in each accomplishment.